Have you ever looked at a design and just gotten that feeling that it works? And then you see another one that feels, I don't know, chaotic or just off? Well, that feeling isn't some kind of magic. It's actually a fundamental design principle at play, an invisible force that holds everything together. We're talking about balance. And trust me, understanding it is like unlocking a secret superpower for design. So let's get into it.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start by digging into that gut feeling you get from a good design. Then, we'll pull back the curtain on the secret sauce, visual weight. After that, we'll explore the three main types of balance, see how it creates a sense of movement, and finally, show you how to start using this as your own new design superpower. All right, first things first. Let's talk about that search for visual harmony. What is it that creates that satisfying sense of completeness that we recognize instantly, even if we can't quite put our finger on why? I mean, this is really the core question, isn't it? A design without balance can feel unsettling. It's almost like your eye doesn't know where to land, or it feels like it's sliding right off the page. So, what really is the difference between a design that feels stable and one that feels like it's about to fall over?
Okay, just look at the contrast here. The dress on the left, with those clean, repeating vertical lines, it feels stable, right? Harmonious. But the one on the right, with all those different patterns and colors, it feels much more visually scattered. The key difference here is balance. It's all about how the elements are spread out to create that sense of stability.
So here's the more official definition. But what's really important to notice here is that it's not about making everything perfectly identical. It's about arranging all the different parts, the colors, the shapes, the empty space, so that no single part is screaming for all the attention. It's about making everything work together as a unified, pleasing whole. Now, to really get a handle on balance, we need to talk about its secret ingredient, visual weight. This is the core concept, the fundamental mechanic that designers are playing with to get that feeling of equilibrium.
I want you to imagine your design is a seesaw, okay? Every single thing you put on that seesaw has a certain weight that pulls the eye toward it. As the designer, your job is to arrange all those elements so the seesaw doesn't just crash down on one side. It's all about perceived heaviness.
So how do you figure out this weight? Well, it's actually a combination of a bunch of different factors. Size is the obvious one. A big object feels heavier than a small one. But color is huge too. A splash of warm, bright red feels way heavier than a patch of cool, light blue. And get this, where you put something changes its weight. An element pushed to the edge feels heavier than one right in the middle. A skilled designer knows how to juggle all of these things to find that perfect balance.
And here's a super cool, simple trick you can use, like, right now. No, seriously, try it. Squint your eyes at the screen. The elements that kind of blur and fade away are lighter. The ones that stay sharp and visible, those are your heavy hitters. It's a surprisingly effective way to see what's really commanding your attention in any design.
Okay, so now that we've got a handle on visual weight, let's check out the three main ways designers actually use it. These are the three main flavors of balance, and each one creates a totally different feeling.
The two most common types you'll see are symmetrical and asymmetrical. Symmetrical is like a perfect mirror image. It feels stable, traditional, very formal. Asymmetrical, on the other hand, is a bit more complex and often more interesting. The two sides are totally different, but their visual weights are carefully balanced to create a feeling of energy, dynamism, and a more modern vibe.
So let's start with symmetry. It's pretty straightforward. If you were to draw a line right down the middle, both sides would be essentially the same. This is the most intuitive kind of balance. We see it all the time in nature and buildings, and it just gives us this feeling of comfort and solid structure. This sketch is a fantastic illustration. Just notice how every line, every curve on the left is a perfect reflection of what's on the right. That perfect mirroring immediately creates a sense of order and formal elegance. It's just so satisfying to look at.
All right, now for the really fun one, asymmetry. This is where a designer's skill really gets to shine. It's not about mirroring at all. It's about creating equilibrium by doing something clever, like placing one big, heavy element on one side and then counterbalancing it with a bunch of smaller, lighter elements on the other.
This is a brilliant example. That large, dark, really complex bow on the right, it has a ton of visual weight. But look at how it's balanced out by all that empty, or negative, space, and the simple, clean lines over on the left. The result is just so dynamic and informal. It keeps your eye moving around, totally engaged.
Okay, our third flavor is called radial balance. I want you to think of the spokes on a wheel or the ripples in a pond after you toss a stone in. All of the design elements are arranged in a circle, shooting out from a single central point.
And you can see it so clearly in this sketch. All the draped lines of the fabric, they all radiate from that one single point on the hip. This creates an undeniable focal point, because every single element in the design is naturally pulling your eye right into the center.
Now, here's the thing. Balance doesn't exist in a vacuum. It works hand in hand with another really important principle, rhythm, to guide your eye through the design and really bring it to life.
Rhythm is what gives a design its flow, its beat, its pulse. It creates a visual path that lets our eye just glide smoothly from one part of the composition to the next. It creates interest and stops things from feeling boring or static.
And designers have a few key tools to create this rhythm. They use repetition, like a roll of buttons on a coat. They use gradation, where maybe colors slowly get darker or lighter. They use transition, which is all about smooth, curved lines that lead your eye. And radiation, which we just saw, creates movement from a central point.
These sketches just capture it beautifully. You can see rhythm in the repetition of the pleats. You can see gradation in how the skirt's fullness and shape changes. It all works together to create this active, organized flow that feels almost like music or a dance.
So this is the big takeaway. Understanding balance and rhythm isn't just for artists or designers. It's a superpower that lets you see the world differently. It helps you understand on a much deeper level why some things just grab your attention and others, well, they just don't. This quote just sums it all up perfectly. Balance isn't just about making things look pretty. It's a communication tool. It's how a design speaks its purpose clearly, how it holds your attention, and how it guides what you see and what you feel. It's the perfect harmony of form and function.
So we're going to leave you with this final thought. Now that you can see this invisible force, start looking for it. I mean, everywhere. In the websites you browse, the buildings downtown, even the layout of a restaurant menu. You'll start to see the deliberate choices behind everything, and you'll begin to understand our visual world in a completely new and much richer way.